Last night was the last Democratic presidential debate between Senator Bernie Sanders and Vice President Sleepy Creepy Uncle Joe Biden. So we got two video clips to share with you guys as highlights, and we'll be giving our initial thoughts and analysis of the debate. So, Dan, Paul, let's all listen. We invite you guys to listen in too.
Hey, let's be honest and understand that this coronavirus pandemic exposes the incredible weakness and dysfunctionality of our current healthcare system. Now, we're spending twice as much per person on healthcare as the people of any other country. How in God's name does it happen that we end up with 87 million people who are uninsured or underinsured, and there are people who are watching this program tonight who say, I'm not feeling well. Should I go to the doctor, but I can't afford to go to the doctor? What happens if I am sick? It's going to cost thousands of dollars for treatment. Who's going to feed my kids? We are the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people. We're spending so much money, and yet we are not even prepared for this pandemic. How come we don't have enough doctors? How come hospitals in rural areas are shutting down? How come people can't afford to get the prescription drugs they need because we have a bunch of crooks who are running the pharmaceutical industry, ripping us off every single day? And I'll tell you something right now. In the midst of this epidemic, you got people in the pharmaceutical industry are saying, oh, wow, what an opportunity to make a fortune. So the word has got to go out, and I certainly would do this as president. You don't worry. People of America, do not worry about the cost of prescription drugs. Do not worry about the cost of the health care that you're going to get, because we are a nation, a civilized, democratic society. Everybody, rich and poor, middle class, will get the care they need. The drug companies will not rip us off.
All right, let's play another video.
This is a national crisis. I don't want to get this into a back and forth in terms of our politics.
It's a debate.
I've laid out a plan, building on Obamacare, providing a public.
Okay. All right. So first, I gotta lay into good old Sleepy Creepy Uncle Joe. You've been saying that back and forth. I don't want to get into a debate or anything like this. Well, that's the whole point of a debate. You're supposed to go back and forth. And honestly, for some reason, everyone on social media, everyone in the corporate establishment is saying you did a fantastic job. You're the front runner. Everyone should be rallying around you. You look like a tired old man to me, Biden. And let's talk about Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, Romney Care, that was created by the Heritage Foundation, that doesn't do jack for the American people. Let's actually have a debate and compare America's healthcare system to the rest of the world. You brought up Italy, you ass. Who the hell do you think you are? Those people in Italy right now, at least they have a social safety net system. They're quarantined, but they have a social safety net system. You want who doesn't? The United States of America. We don't have anything here. And in that debate, you showed how confused you were. You showed how tired you were. You showed how out of touch you were. And in fact, when it came down talking about super PACs, Biden, I know you're a little senile, maybe you got some cognitive issues, but you have billionaires backing you up. You have super PACs backing you up. That's the only reason why you were still relevant even before the primaries even started, because they needed their good little puppet to do what they wanted them to do. And you, my friend, don't have what it takes. And even when you challenge Bernie Sanders, hey, his 9 super PACs, oh, those are 9 grassroots organizations. And when Bernie asked you to name them, you were like any other tired old man who just couldn't even talk anymore. Was like, forget it. Are you going to do that with Trump? Are you really going to do that with Trump? Let's look at that debate. Every point when Biden was speaking, his mannerisms, the way he talked, Donald Trump would decimate him, all right? And I don't care who your favorite presidential candidate was during the early days of the primary. I think we can agree. We can all agree. And in earlier debates, Biden was an epic disaster. Biden was a failure. And if he is the nominee, if the Democratic Party goes with him, if election fraud and election integrity is not acknowledged, be prepared for, a 50-50 chance for another 4 more years of Donald Trump. Paul, Dan, take it away. Your thoughts on the debate.
Well, on that last comment, I wanted to add, I think it's more than a 50-50 chance. I think if Biden walks away with the nomination, it's almost a certainty that Trump will win again. Yeah. Joe Biden really is not, he doesn't really have a solid platform he's running on. He's not offering people specific things, right? Nobody says, oh, Joe Biden, he's going to do fill in the blank. Nobody has a thing to fill in the blank with. All they have is Joe Biden was Obama's VP, right? Yeah, that's the extent of it. Joe nothing will fundamentally change Biden appears to not be promising anything. In fact, almost all of the arguments he makes are about why we can't have the things that Bernie Sanders wants to do. Is that your major platform? I'm going to fight to not do things. Why is that a thing that's going to excite voters? Why is that a thing that people would want? Now, I said this yesterday in our post-debate analysis. Bernie really needed to rhetorically pummel Biden in that debate. And by spending the first half hour on the health crisis, they really couldn't draw significant distinctions from one another. In that first clip we saw, though, I think Bernie made some of his strongest cases there, that we need to do a lot more, that a single-payer universal health care system would have helped this, that people shouldn't be worried about how they're going to pay for medicine. They shouldn't have to worry about copays and deductibles. They shouldn't become financially insecure because they're trying to maintain their own health. That was really the best point he could make on that. The second half of the first hour is where Bernie made some of his best points of the entire night, where he attacked Joe Biden for his record of continually attempting to cut Social Security and got Biden lying repeatedly on record, and finally pushed him to the point where he did admit that he did say that on the floor of the Senate. He pushed Biden on campaign finance reform, and Biden kept trying to dodge and hand wave away, and he was able to pin Biden down on a couple of other key points that are sort of obvious to anyone who's been paying attention. In the second half of the overall debate, though, the second hour, it kind of got devolved into, well, you know, what activist group has given you a good record or a good grade? And, oh, I have a 100% rating from this particular organization. I forget which one they were talking about. I remember them saying on Twitter later that, oh, yeah, we gave you a 100% record in your last term in Congress or in the Senate, but overall, your record isn't that good. And in fact, that 100% record was one where there were very few votes that had to do with protecting women, which I think was, I can't remember, somebody will have to correct me. What was the organization? Ultimately, you got so into the weeds in the second half that I don't think Bernie, walked away with a decisive win. And I think that's the problem. I think Bernie definitely won the debate, but it's unfortunate that what he needed to do was win so decisively that it could really move the needle. And I'm worried that that may not have happened. I'm not saying that, time to throw in the towel. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Vote tomorrow, especially if you're in Illinois, Florida,
Yes,
and Arizona.
make sure you get out and vote.
Ohio's not.
What I'm saying is Joe, if he gets the nomination, will almost certainly lose to Trump because he fails to inspire confidence, because he makes so many of these gaffes and sort of has a hard time completing a coherent sentence. The best part of the debate, though, the absolute hands-down best part of the debate was when Joe Biden accused Sanders of having 8 super PACs that he has on a list. 9 super PACs, whatever, many super PACs that he has on a list right here. And Bernie was so ready. He was like, go ahead, list them. Go ahead, say them. He's like, wait, okay, you're going to make that accusation, and then when invited to continue making that accusation, and okay, let's talk about that. No, you don't want to talk about that? That doesn't bode well for your argument there, Joe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Daniel's
So
the final
this
note.
is So I agree with Paul's take. I mean, you guys. I mean, I know a few people have been a little upset that I've been down on Sanders. I'm a strategist. I just see how this is all playing out. Sanders needed to. I would say first, Sanders had the best debate he's had so far in the entire election. I think there's no question. He clearly won this, but
Agreed.
Winning a battle when you're losing a war doesn't mean as much unless that battle you just won turns around the direction of the war, and I don't think that happened. For all the reasons Paul said, Bernie made a lot of, which hit that one part Paul's talking about, that was fantastic. He didn't go for the killing blow, though, which he really needed to do. Bernie Sanders is just not the fighter that we need at the time to fight back against the media. Like, one thing I say a lot with him is he's asked the same 10 questions by the media 100 times. How many times has Bernie Sanders been asked, hey, Bernie, how you going to pay for it? How many times? When will Bernie Sanders go, hey, you asked me this the last time we were on and the time before, get a better question or something. He doesn't do that. And with Biden, I don't think he said you're my friend at any point.
No, he didn't. Thank
but
God.
he didn't do what you needed in a debate. Biden, in his like half-brained sort of way, tried to make up that he had super PACs, even though there's a lie. It was still a far more aggressive attack than anything Bernie Sanders did the entire debate. And here's what's going to happen to go with Paul's point. I'm not voting for Biden. I know there's a lot of people around my age that'll just not vote. I'm going to vote. Because there's people that obviously I'm not going to take it. Joe Biden will not beat Trump. And when that happens, the Democratic Party will do exactly what you expect. And I'm going to call it here right now. They're going to blame you. They're going to say, I have no power. I have no responsibility. I said, screw you the entire election. Joe Biden literally said he has no empathy for millennials. None. The Democratic Party cheats every single time. The DNC cheats every single time. And yet, we're expected to vote for him. Here's the thing. As long as the Democratic Party keeps getting the vote of progressives because they don't want the lesser evil. By the way, lesser evilism, how's that worked out? Right. We have Trump because of lesser evilism. That's a really good system. Works every time, except it doesn't, and it makes it worse the next time. It's kind of a double whammy. It's like a short-term gut punch that causes you to bleed internally over the long term. Really wonderful. So, we're in a situation now where we know exactly what's going to happen. The coast is clear. The strategy, what's going to unfold is clear. And they're going to blame you because they can't take responsibility because why would they? Then they can blame you. Now, here's the thing I'm going to say. As long as progressives vote for any blue, vote for the lesser evil, our vote actually doesn't mean anything. The only votes that matter, this is why they're so big on swing voters, the only votes that matter are the ones that aren't certain. Yeah. If Democrats feel every election that they have a certainty of young people voting because blue no matter who, they will never take us seriously, ever. They have no reason. From a political point of view, from a rules for rulers point of view, they have absolutely no reason to take us seriously on any topic ever unless we say to them, we're just not going to vote. Go F yourself. We're not going to vote unless you give us something. And I'm happy to compromise. I'm happy to not get everything I want. But if you don't give me something real I can bite into, you're no different than Trump. And at least, and I know a lot of people that voted for Hillary because they felt that was the right thing to do. They had to vote Lou no matter who. How'd that work out for you? You gave up a little piece of your soul to get nothing.
I'm
We're
not
trying the same strategy again and expecting
I'm not
a
going
different
to
result.
compromise my values. And look, you guys can vote however which way you want, but Biden doesn't represent my points of view. He says all these things now. He says he's going to fight for Medicare for all. He says he's going to do something about all this stuff. Yeah, he could tweet about it. I don't think it's him tweeting about it because I don't think he knows how to do it.
He'll have someone tweet for
yeah,
him.
he has someone tweet for him. I don't believe him. And I can't believe him for his past record. And this debate performance that he did, I'm prepared to see Trump just constantly humiliate him. This general election, I was actually excited for this primary, really looking forward to the general, but not so much anymore. And I am not a vote blue no matter who kind of person. And that's my final note on this story.